When I first time coming here, I was going through in this door. And first I started looking, I have to stand like that. I say, oh my God, what's happened? If I saw it, my parent or my relative has been killing in this prison. And I always think, hope not. And I still thinking in here, I say, I should looking all of this picture or I should not.
This week, Cambodia commemorates the 20th birthday of the taking of Phnom Penh by the Khmer Rouge troops. The bloody and cruel regime of Pol Pot is said to be responsible for the death of more than 1 million people.
What's happened if I saw my parents die in here? I was stop here and thinking, I should looking or not. When I started looking on this picture, beginning from here.
In this Khmer Rouge prison in the capital Phnom Penh, some 200,000 people were systematically tortured to death. The terror has been filed with an almost religious fervour. Each and every prisoner was photographed. Khan Kel's parents weren't among them. Nevertheless, he never saw them back. They probably died like so many others, anonymously, somewhere in the countryside.
This crazy man is still alive. This crazy man is still causing problem up to now.
The communist regime of Pol Pot and his Khmer Rouge wanted to start from scratch. All the city people were sent off to the countryside. Men, women and children were separated. They were put into different brigades to do forced labour. They considered city people not as obedient as people from the country, and they had to be obliterated. Pol Pot's regime was only to be successful with the total submission of its people.
If they take your brother to kill, you're still closing your mouth, closing your eyes, closing your ears, ignore. Look like nobody's died, nobody has been killed. Look like you didn't see anything, you are blind. She doesn't know anything. That is Khmer rule at that time, during the control.
Khan was 14 when the Cambodian Holocaust began, and 17 when the Vietnamese entered Phnom Penh in 1979. Pol Pot fled, and Cambodia was thrown into a civil war. Rush hour in the centre of Phnom Penh. One notices little of the ongoing war with the Khmer Rouge. But once you sidetrack the main roads, you'll notice that 20 years of continuous war have destroyed the country and its people. In 1991, the future seemed bright. All's well that ends well. The UN began one of its biggest operations. They were there to organise free elections. The international community decided to pour money into development programmes. In the end, the Khmer Rouge refused to go along and went through with their guerrilla war. Development programmes had difficulties getting off the ground. The World Food Programme couldn't bring production to an adequate level. Observers felt there was something very wrong.
Het programma kon niet werken tenzij de mensen vertrouwen hadden in elkaar en met elkaar konden meewerken. En het was heel duidelijk dat tot in het kleinste dorp mensen gekozen hadden zich totaal te isoleren in stilte. Liever niet wilden samenwerken met elkaar. Dat de vrees beschuldigd te worden, voor welke reden dan ook, alles domineerde. En daarom ook alles deed stilstaan.
20 years of continuous warfare has left its mark on the mental state of the Cambodians. An April 1994 WHO conference tried to map the causes. The Cambodians had just experienced far too much. This is the village of To Quang in the province of Kampong Su, some 30 kilometers from Phnom Penh. Here, the first moves towards mental aid to the villages are being made.
He get confused, and sometimes he get, strong, violent, and feel angry with somebody, and sometimes he get afraid.
This young man gets very heavy medication. According to members of his family, he was never able to accept the loss of his mother during the Pol Pot regime. The social worker guides the Dutch anthropologist Willem van der Put. In this village, with 300 inhabitants, 5 patients need heavy medicines. 70% of the people here suffer regularly from depression. 30% are heavily depressed.
During Pol Pot time, his father was died in that time. So after that, her feeling is not good and change his mood, like depressed, because he take information from the relative and the mother, and the mother said she always remind about his father, and sometimes won't take the clothes out from the bodies and walk around in the village.
Villages like these experienced the worst of the Holocaust. The regime of Pol Pot not only made victims in every family, but set everybody against one another. If you knew someone who had done something wrong, you were as guilty as the person themselves.
In the Khmer Rouge period, they teaching the villager, each person is each spy. It's not only Khmer Rouge. Communists also, I should say in communist, it's not in Cambodia, but in everywhere. They also teaching their people, each person as each spy, each person is each police, each person is each soldier.
De bedoeling van Pol Pot om heel Cambodja af te breken en later weer opnieuw op te bouwen is in zekere zin geslaagd. Ik bedoel, het afbreekgedeelte, dat is geslaagd. Aan opbouw is men nooit toegekomen. Maar wat afgebroken is die onderlinge band. Want elk gezin zal het voor zichzelf moeten redden. Dat is wat iedereen ook meegemaakt heeft, zeker in die Pol Pot-periode. Dat je als man, vrouw en kinderen probeert om dat bij elkaar te houden. En dat je zo diep gegaan bent dat je weet dat je daar je eerste verantwoordelijkheid hebt liggen. En het is moeilijk voor mensen om nu terug te gaan naar iets wat men wel van vroeger kent. Waarbij je dus onderling meer steun verleent en onderling elkaar vertrouwt.
Western donor countries are beginning to see that the Pol Pot regime and the civil war have brought an enormous mental trauma. There doesn't seem to be an easy solution. This woman lost her husband to the same Khmer Rouge she can still hear on the radio today. To us, she says she doesn't listen to the station any longer, but if the neighbours noticed, they might tell the Khmer Rouge.
After listening to this radio and close your eye, you were thinking, the last 20 years was not over, but still closing to your life.
Presently, Khan Kal assists Willem de Put, starting up a program supporting local projects. Like most Cambodians, he is not sure whether he can manage the constant confrontation with the past. Many responsible realise that Cambodia will only have a future when it can throw off the spiritual load from the lost decades. But with the ongoing civil war, especially in the countryside, the shadow of Pol Pot remains very alive.
Mostly people in countryside, they think, I should to be a farmer, not to want to change in life in better, because if they come back again, they will try to looking for who. At the Khmer Rouge time, who's the first Khmer Rouge had to kill it? Intellectual. So that's what people I think if you close your eye at the moment, you will think, I should go to be a farmer. I'm not to be a teacher.